Hello and welcome to the For We Are Many podcast. My name is Rob and I will be your host and comrade this evening. As you see, for the first time in what feels like forever, I actually have my microphone and proper camera, so that's awesome. We are going to do a short show tonight. Sorry we're late, and Trisha will be here soon. She's got to walk the dogs and kind of get things ready. Most of you know there are two things that I want to talk about tonight, and that's to try to keep the show shorter so we can do our Leftist Karaoke Night with Left Signal Boost on Twitch. That will be, I think it'll be on Bread Theory's Twitch. I can't remember for sure. But if you would like to watch or participate, contact Bread Theory or Left Signal Boost. Yeah, that should be a great time. The other reason that there's only two things that I want to talk about is because they're both pretty big. Most of North America, I'm sure you're aware, is under a heat wave. And a significant portion of Europe is under a heat wave. So we're going to be talking about climate change. We're gonna talk about how this is different from like the UK heat wave of 1976, because that gets brought up a lot in the international community. Like, oh well, they had a heat wave in 1976, but this is way bigger than that. And the highest temperature ever recorded in England has been broken 3 times in the last 2 or 3 years. Also, the fucking NYPD executed a teenager for playing with a water gun. They're calling it an air rifle, but it's white and orange and shoots water beads. It is a water gun. If that is the classification that they're going to use for air rifles, that would also apply to like Nerf guns. And I guess I wanted to talk about the right to bear arms more generally, because if children are being executed by the police for playing with toy guns, which this is not the first time that we've seen this, by the way. Let's not forget Tamir Rice. He was 12. He was playing with an airsoft gun, and the cops killed him within 2 seconds, literally 2 seconds of getting out of the car. Yeah, sure, climate change isn't real. Nebula in the sky. Right, yeah. Well, the sea levels are rising at a faster pace than the historical record shows at all, right? These heat waves are becoming more severe and covering larger swaths of land than the historical record shows. And the list goes on. 97% of the world's science community agrees that climate change is real. So, if you really think climate change, which you spelled wrong, by the way, isn't real, there's the comment that I'm referring to. Climate change is not real. If you want to show some sources for that, go ahead. But I think that we're all under the understanding that it's real. The science community has accepted it as real for decades. So, yeah. And then the follow-up comment was madness. All right, Nebula in the sky. Yeah, it's madness, but you're the one that doesn't believe the global science community. James, thank you. Yes, climate change is real. James, if you do want to watch or participate in the Leftist Karaoke Night for Left Signal Boost, yes, you will have to sign up for Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. They'll all can us after a few minutes because of copyrighted content. Whereas Twitch, as long as we acknowledge that we don't own the music, which no shit, we don't own the music, then they will allow it. This is the Nebula in the Sky. This is really not the place to discuss something like God, what's the word here? The planes in the sky are spreading some substance. There's a term for it, but I don't remember. Anyway, I have yet to see any legitimate scientific evidence of that being the case. I'm not naive enough to write it off entirely, but I'm also not going to spread pseudoscience when it comes to climate change. Hi, Chris. All power. Nice to see you. If you all want to take a moment to share this into groups or send it to a friend that might like it, etc., etc. Yeah, that would be much helpful, and I would appreciate it. Give me one moment. So I have an NBC thing about Europe's heat wave. We will start there. Obviously, there's a lot more to it. In response to this question, is there a Republican potential candidate for 2024 that is less or not climate skeptical than Trump? Well, I mean, Ron DeSantis doesn't seem to take it very seriously, and he seems to be the front runner for whatever fucking reason. I will never understand that, how after Trump, the Republicans are seeming to line up behind Ron DeSantis, but I digress. This is an NBC video on the heat wave in Europe.
Tonight, wildfires are ripping through Europe and parts of northern Africa. In Spain, 17 fires are raging across the country, and thousands are frantically fleeing their homes. This woman saying she's devastated. So far, nearly 400 people have died from the extreme heat as temperatures hit 114 degrees. It's a desperate effort for first responders working quickly to save lives and homes as neighbors rush to evacuate.
Once you can feel the intensity of the heat and the wind, that's it.
A similar scene in France, where fires are intensifying. 25,000 acres are burning near the famed wine region of Bordeaux. Bonjour. Police going door to door, getting residents out before it's too late. So far, the country's seeing some 12,000 evacuations. The deadly heat wave that's gripping Europe comes at the height of the summer tourist season. In the United Kingdom, a crisis situation in a country where most live without air conditioning. Government officials holding an emergency meeting today.
Hello, it's Friday, the 22nd of July, 2050.
2 years ago, the UK's National Weather Agency put out this forecast to warn about climate change.
Much of England and Wales, highs will be around 40 Celsius.
That eerie prediction is set to come true nearly 3 decades early. The UK is set to hit 40 degrees Celsius, which is 104 degrees Fahrenheit, this coming week. Jose?
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's.
So, 104 degrees in England. We're talking about Arizona temperatures in a place that usually doesn't top 80 degrees Fahrenheit, of course. What day was this from? July 16th. So, that being said, that was 6 days ago. And there were higher temperatures forecast beyond that. Wildfires. I missed exactly where all they mentioned. But, I mean, we're talking about heat records being broke across Europe. Paris, London, Berlin. The southern France is facing, the BBC referred to it as a heat apocalypse. People are fleeing France because it is too hot. Just to put that in perspective. Let's see if there's anything from today. This one is from 2 hours ago, from WION. I'm not really sure what network that is. I'm not that familiar with European news sources. 41 Celsius. What is that in Fahrenheit for our American viewers? 41 Celsius to Fahrenheit is 105.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Where are you? In Paris. In fucking Paris. Average July high temp in Paris. 69 to 74 degrees Celsius. Oh, wait, that's June. 74 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit is the average daily high temperature. It was 105.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Chris well said the Democrats lost people's trust a long time ago. The Democrats now are definitely not for the people, especially the black masses. I would take that further and say that the Democrats don't represent the working class. They talk a big game sometimes, but nothing really substantial, I would say. Anyway, on to the next video. This one is from WION.
Europe is witnessing a devastating heat wave. Multiple countries have seen record-breaking temperatures. One of the worst affected has been Spain, which has seen numerous wildfires across the country. We get to this report from the Spanish countryside, which shows the extent of the destruction caused.
This is the devastation caused by wildfires in Spain. It was once a thriving vineyard in Spain's central province of Avila, in the municipality of Cebreros. But now everything here is covered in ashes.
Un incendio siempre es terrorífico.
A fire is always terrorizing because it kills everything around it, and the feeling is terrible. The sensation, the smoke, the smell, you feel it's the end. So the first sensation is incredibly awful. The first sensation is incredibly bad. It is one of total destruction. Then you start to think positively and how you are going to work to recover what was there before, because it's as if you have lost part of your soul.
Spain has seen multiple wildfires. On Thursday, firefighters battled 9 separate fires all over the country. This vineyard is an example of what remains in the aftermath of the flames. And the locals have to start afresh once the fires die down. Climate change is set to be driving the unprecedented heat waves in Europe. Scientists say that extreme weather events are going to become more intense and common in the coming years. So far, more than 90,000 hectares have been burnt across Spain. That's an area larger than New York City. There are calls for the focus to shift from firefighting to fire prevention and forest management. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
WION.
Might help if I put myself back in the stream. So now we're going to take a look here in North America. We are seeing almost a coast-to-coast heat wave, but I mean, here's a graphic Or here's a video, I should say. Sorry. Here we go. Take two.
Canvassing the country tonight, an unbearable heat wave. Records primed to be smashed.
I feel like I'm on this side.
Nearly 200 million people experiencing highs today above 90 degrees, 40 million above triple digits. Some parts of the U.S. reaching supremely sweltering levels. Parts of California, the Central Plains, and Texas, with highs ranging from 105 to 113. Those particularly vulnerable to heat-related illness, children and the elderly.
The heat is undefeated against those who are unprepared and don't take it seriously.
In some communities, emergency responders inundated with calls and overwhelmed.
He's now kind of really suffering from maybe heat exhaustion. He's really struggling.
Throughout the Dallas area,
are your AC working properly?
Police officers checking in on older residents as the county works overtime to provide AC units to low-income families, installing some 150 units in just the last 2 weeks.
Do you think those little efforts could add up to lives actually being saved?
Absolutely. They may not be used to this heat. They may have just moved to Texas. Having 108-degree weather, 110-degree weather, it's different.
Residents have recently been asked to conserve energy, knowing the state's energy grid has faltered before. And with all that dry heat tearing into open spaces and threatening homes, multiple fires across Texas forcing hundreds to flee. Yet in some parts, the heat is springing water by buckling infrastructure, causing water main breaks.
Please make sure that everyone in your group has a water bottle.
Whether taking a summer break at camp or trying to cool off at the beach out east, where scorching conditions head next,
it's way too hot to even be on the sand.
The heat is on, with no signs of a surrender anytime soon.
Sam, you mentioned the power grid in Texas. Will it be able to keep up with demand?
Lester, it is 109 degrees right now in Dallas. Things are running smoothly. The available energy shows up as green. The problem, according to energy experts, the state is relying upon power plants that are a half-century old and banking upon them as if they're brand new. And Lester, in the days to come, with the hottest weeks, July and August, a small disruption could become a major problem.
So that was kind of just showing. We talked about Europe already. We have someone in the comments that's in Paris, and they had 41 Celsius temps the other day. 41 Celsius is 105.8 degrees Fahrenheit. There are wildfires and crop failures in southern France and Spain and Portugal. There are crop failures and wildfires here in the United States. Fresno, California to Texas is on fire. It was 113 degrees in eastern Texas. When was this video from? July 19th. So it would have been probably that day or the day before.
There was even some fires going crazy, like in London.
Yeah.
You know, can't really call them wildfires when they're in the city, but basically anything that was growing was catching a flame. If you can't tell from me sitting here with my trusty fucking water bottle, it's hotter than hell here, so don't mind me while I sit here blasting the shit out of myself with some chilled water because it's too goddamn hot. You know, you kind of expect those kind of temps here in Arizona, but what the fuck when the UK and other northern parts of Europe are also having extreme like this?
Yeah.
This is insane. This is insane. It's a global fucking heat wave. And yes, James, I'm here. Hi. Just
I said you were going to be here. I don't know why you didn't believe me. I am going to reiterate, though, that this is going to be a shorter show. We're talking about, well, climate change, I guess, would be the overall topic, but we're talking about the literally global heat wave that we're in, at least as far as the Northern Hemisphere is concerned. And I'm sure it extends beyond that as well. But, I mean, the places that are setting all-time records are primarily... I haven't looked into Siberia because, you know, all of a sudden nobody cares about Russia. Well, at least not about, you know, the suffering of the Russian people. But I mean, last year Siberia was seeing triple-digit Fahrenheit temperatures, which is entirely unprecedented, and it should have gotten more attention in the media than it did. It was basically just swept under the rug. And to clarify, I looked up the average. For those of you in the audience, you're going to hear me repeat this, but we talked about how it was 105.8 degrees Fahrenheit in Paris, right? Do you, Trisha, do you have a guess at all as to what the average daily high temperatures are in Paris?
Normal conditions in the summertime, I would guess probably the 80s, not a fucking 100.
74 to 77 degrees, 74 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit.
Damn.
105.
Yeah, dude, that shit's insane. Eve, in the comments, I would like to ask you, with the situation you're describing there with energy shortage, are you guys even able to keep your fucking air conditioning running and stuff like that so you're not having massive numbers of people dying from heat stroke?
I mean, my question is if they even have AC like, Arizona or Texas. I mean, Britain doesn't, and that's part of why this is so catastrophic.
Right. I mean, I imagine some people have it, but it's probably not as common there as it is in areas that actually usually have higher temps than 70s in the summer. It's just insane.
James, yeah, exactly. Okay, so my issue here is what kind of planet are we trying to leave to the next generation?
Are we even trying to leave them one? Well, I mean, we are, but neither of us have any kids. These motherfuckers who are running the show, though, who have the power to actually fucking change this shit, I are reading more about personal profits in their pocket right fucking now than whether or not this planet remains livable for further generations.
Not to segue too early, but just food for thought before we switch topics. Why is the NYPD focusing on water guns in the middle of a record-setting heat wave instead of, in Dallas, they're literally, the police, that is, are literally going door to door and checking on the elderly to make sure that they have AC. And if they don't, transport them to somewhere that does, right? Why isn't that happening in New York? Why are they executing teenagers for playing with a water gun in a heat wave?
Right.
But we'll get to that. I'm not done with this heat wave yet.
It's fucking shameful the condition this world is in. I mean, this is fucking disturbing. This is so fucking disturbing. I'm only 40 years old, and when I was a kid, the average temps in the summertime up in Michigan anyways were like high 70s, low 80s, and it's pushing high 90s with such high humidity that it feels just as shitty out there as it does here in 100 and fucking.
Agreed.
Hi, Nate.
The blistering heat wave blanketing the U.S. continues to crank out record temperatures.
Terribly hot. I mean, can't handle it.
2 out of every 3 Americans experiencing heat above 90 degrees. Some cities setting new daily highs. Dallas at 109, Albuquerque at 102, and Wichita Falls, Texas, a whopping 115. While Americans try anything to weather the onslaught, tonight, unrelenting heat in Texas is testing the state's energy consumption, which is expected to swell to levels never seen before, using equipment that in some cases dates back half a century.
These are not designed to run full out year-round. Everybody built these for August and September. Everyone in Texas knows that's when it gets really hot.
The record usage here, even more stark when stacked up to other large states. Texas at 80,000 megawatts, at least doubling New York's projected summer peak, California's current usage.
Power generation is keeping up right now with near record temperatures. Right now, there's about 4 or 5% extra capacity. But just last week, the available levels dipped low enough, Texans were asked to conserve. Today, ERCOT, the air traffic controller for the state's power flow, says that strategy worked.
I am always worried that the system can be overtaxed. That's why I prepared. So on both Monday and Wednesday of last week, the conservation efforts of every Texan prevented us from going into emergency.
Texans are counting on that help and reliability, but still struggling to keep up with costs. 83-year-old Eva Kupar in Houston has seen her energy bill spike up nearly 200%.
Well, I run fans. We don't even run the AC because it's just too expensive.
Nationally, household electric bills are expected to jump about 20% to an average of $540 for the summer.
Wow.
As the country confronts an outdated system.
Is this a Texas problem or is it a national problem?
Our grid problem is a national problem, not just Texas and California. Texas and California have gotten there first.
Families hoping that it's addressed soon with so much on the line.
And Sam, you walked us through the numbers, but beyond the current heat wave, explain why does Texas consume so much more energy than everyone else?
So, Lester, Texas has a lot of people, 30 million people, but California has 40 million. But Texas, in addition to having some of the hottest temperatures in the entire country, also, Lester, has a massive industrial footprint, petrochemicals and refineries that drain energy. You combine those two things, puts Texas at the top of the list.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel.
Dude. That's fucking insane. $540 a month fucking electric bill?
Average.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
James is in the comments with solutions. Large-scale fossil fuel above ground is dangerous. Smaller cells of wind and solar would be better.
Agreed.
Yeah. And I mean, as much as I have been against nuclear in the past because of the risks associated, it's still, no matter how you boil it down, it's still fucking cleaner than burning fossil fuels.
Yep.
But
and dude, it's, as much as I hate the lithium mining for the batteries for solar, for fuck's sake, like, dude, we've got to do something. They need to improve the batteries, yes, but in areas where solar is something that would be a more sustainable way to produce that energy, you know, for fuck's sake, in Texas, most areas anyways, most of the time, except when we have strange storms like a couple of years ago that snowed on them, but most of the time, that would be a reliable source of energy. We've got to do something. This is fucking insane. The more fossil fuels we burn to try to run air conditioning, the worse we're making the fucking pollution, causing our fucking heat trap that's going on right now.
Well, and not to mention that we're literally, ACs are heat pumps, right? You pump the heat from inside the house to outside the house. So, I mean, not only are we trapping the heat with CO2 and methane, right? But we are also exhausting more hot air back into the environment. Not to mention, you know, blacktop roads. Not to mention a lack of tree cover. Not to mention, deforestation, which goes along with the tree cover, et cetera, et cetera.
And yeah, Comrade Chris, it doesn't surprise me. It just fucking infuriates me. I mean, this is shit that we were well aware of so many decades ago that shit should have been changed. I mean, I remember...
Well, shit, Don's mom was talking about in the 70s, they were talking about global temperature rising. They were talking about the ice caps melting. They were talking about deforestation. The 70s...
Right. It was already so well known that by the time I was in 4th and 5th grade, so we're talking like 1989, that We were already, my class, we had a very awesome fucking leftist teacher who was with us about the shit. We were fighting climate change then, trying to bring it to people's attention as children, trying to get the community to fucking listen, and they didn't want to listen to us then. Well, now we're fucking, grown and middle-aged and screaming because average temps have gone up.
Extinction Rebellion has been right this whole fucking time.
And we still have dumb fucks out here denying the science and saying this isn't real. This is just normal ebbs and flow. And fucking... No, this is not. This is exponentially greater than the normal ebb and flow of temperature differences.
Our first Twitch comment of this stream was some guy, Nebula in the Sky, saying climate change is not real. Madness. And I asked for scientific evidence, and he said the planes are spreading some substance that make the temperature rising.
Okay, you QAnon dumb fuck. First of all, learn how to climate if you're going to talk about climate change, motherfucker. Second, look at the evidence. Look at the data, okay? Because
look at the fact that 97% of the global science community agrees that climate change is real.
Right. Look, we have taken ice core samples to be able to show levels of CO2, etc., as well as typical ebb and flow of, temperature differences over the course of the Earth's fucking history. And the dramatic climb in temperature over the last 6-7 decades is that is not at all in line with what we have observed from looking at the data from scientific fucking analysis. Not at all. Sincerely, a fucking scientist with degrees in fucking science. QAnon, sit the fuck down.
And exactly, Nate. Even if it was planes dropping shit in the air, that's still man-made and it's still raising the temperature.
Right. Humans are fucking our climate up. Period.
I've said ecology should gather from the far left to the far right. You would think so. You would fucking think so. But at least here in the U.S., a lot of these boomers don't care because they're, going to be long dead and gone before it gets inhospitable.
Right. And they're still, fully in support of fossil fuels for every fucking thing because they grew up getting the mind fuck, being fucking told that climate change ain't fucking real. Being told that, I don't know, the epitome of everything that you could fucking achieve. And so they think that it's, totally cool to just keep burning the fuck out of fossil fuels for every goddamn thing. And I'm here to tell you, motherfuckers, if you're already 1 foot in the grave and not gonna even fucking be here for the future that your shit is trying to destroy, maybe you should sit down and shut the fuck up. Because those of us still gonna be alive to have to keep suffering through this shit, and this generation's children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, guess what? They give a fuck. They would probably like to not have to suffer through temperatures that make it literally impossible to just fucking without dying from exposure. It's ridiculous.
So Natalie said there's a lot of denial of climate change seen on Fox News, and that's where a large number of people choose to believe. I responded in the comments saying, absolutely, even though they argued in court and won that they're an entertainment business, not a news business, and therefore can say whatever the fuck they want with no repercussions.
Yeah, I've literally pointed that out to some Fox viewers and had them try to be like, that's not true. They didn't do that in court. Here's the court records. Fucking look at this yourself. Oh, no, that's not true. Yes, the fuck it is. Like, they deny everything. They don't want to acknowledge evidence on or on anything, including fucking court records. Ugh.
So, I guess we can move on to the next topic. We get the point, right? The entire northern hemisphere is on fire. I don't think anybody's like contesting that, right? I wanted to draw comparisons between the 1976 heat wave. There's been a bunch of arguments on the BBC, right, about how the 1976 heat wave was so catastrophic in Britain. The 1976 heat wave was less hot, for starters, and it was only the British Isles and Ireland.
Well, do you have that map on hand that you popped in our group chat the other day? Because that right there just completely fucking shows it, of the heat wave in the 70s versus the current heat wave right now, where pretty much the whole goddamn globe is of red and orange.
Right.
Not
I
even
am looking for it right now.
It's the whole fucking planet.
Well, I mean, it's definitely hotter in the northern hemisphere compared to averages. This map is entirely based on historical averages. I thought that I had both, but I have June 2022. Oh, it's probably a link. It's probably a link. Okay, well, you look for that one, Nate, and I will pop this one up. This is June 2022. How do I zoom in? Am I stupid?
I don't know. You're not even screen sharing, so I can't see.
Well, right. I know that, but like, why can't I figure out how to zoom in? What is going on here? Did I become technologically illiterate over the last few days?
Apparently, so went out the window with working in the heat to unload the pod and get your shit moved in.
For sure.
And Natalie, thank you for the giggle. She said, Rob, didn't you know Antifa started all those fires?
Oh my God.
And, they didn't do it alone. It was also the fucking, Jewish space lasers starting fire too. Yeah. Bad. Sorry. Fucking hate Marjorie Taylor Greene, that dumb bitch. Jewish space laser shit. Let me tell you.
I'm just going to Google it. That's going to be easier. 1976. Whoa. 1976 British heat wave versus 2022 European heat wave. Let's see what comes back.
He said he just sent it. So if it doesn't come right up on Google, check Messenger.
Aha. All right. Yeah, and it's bigger, so this will work. All right. So,
thank you, Nathan.
This was the heat wave of 1976. As you see, it's, France, Spain, Portugal, probably, I would assume, Western Germany. I'm not quite sure where the border sits there. A big part of Russia and a little part of Canada, right? Oh, wrong thing. There we go. June 2022. Oh, well,
every fucking where.
It's not as bad on the British Isles. Ireland and Scotland are better off this time, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but the entire fucking globe is on fire. With the exception of part of Australia. Yeah. Look at Siberia.
Insane. This is the result in wastefulness. Fucking just burning shitloads of fossil fuels for all kinds of fucking shit. This is the type of shit that we can thank most major corporations as well as militaries for. Why? Because their carbon footprint is exponentially fucking higher than all the other fucking individual citizens combined. 98 fucking degrees in Alaska?
In Alaska last week.
What the
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. That's really all I have on that. Now, the next thing is the NYPD executing a teen with a water gun. Let's see if the media has even reported on it.
Barely, from what I've seen.
Barely, yeah. I mean,
I've seen
all of them are about how the correction officer, the off-duty correction officer that works at a training facility, was charged. But I mean, not right away. After he killed this fucking teenager playing with a water gun, right? He went to work at the training facility. It wasn't until it went viral on TikTok and Twitter that the NYPD did anything about it. And does anybody think that he's actually going to fucking sit the 30 years for, I think it was manslaughter that they charged him with?
How is that manslaughter? That's straight up fucking murder. That is straight up.
I mean, it wasn't premeditated, so it would only be second degree, but it's not manslaughter. If he's not charged with second degree murder, at least.
And I would say fucking terrorism should be slapped on there too, because that's what these pigs are doing, is terrorizing the community. And furthermore, speaking on the terrorism tip, the majority of what I've seen being kicked out is like social media posts from the NYPD trying to justify it with, oh, this water gun is really an air rifle, which is illegal here. Fuck you. That's not even rifled. It's a fucking water gun that shoots soft little gel pellets of fucking water. It's like tiny water balloons, you fucks.
And if they really want to, their definition of air rifle is so broad that it can include like Nerf guns. But actually, this video has some of the social media posts in it, and we'll circle back if it misses any.
A trend among teens on TikTok could be the motive for murder. Police say this airsoft gun fell out of an SUV after the deadly shooting death of 18-year-old Raymond Chalyusan early Thursday morning on the Cross Bronx Expressway. Now it's part of the investigation whether or not the teen was acting out a popular TikTok trend called the Orbeez Challenge before he was shot in the face. The man accused of pulling the trigger is New York City Correction Officer Dion Middleton. After the shooting, Middleton allegedly went about his business and went to work without saying a word. Sources tell Pix 11 News surveillance video gave police the evidence they needed to arrest the 46-year-old for murder. Friends and family of the teenager are now left not only mourning his death, but questioning why he was gunned down.
I feel really hurt that every single day there's always people dying, but the younger and younger of age that's passing away is just really sad. But in particularly Raymond.
Sources tell Pix 11 News the teen and a friend were making a McDonald's run in this SUV when they were stopped at a light. What is still not clear is whether or not the teen was holding the bead blaster in his hands at the time. The NYPD tweeted out this warning to anyone who owns a gun like this.
So
stop calling gun bead blaster. Fuck you, it's a water gun. Oh
no, bead blaster is the brand.
They're trying to make it sound like it's something volatile, though, when it is a fucking water squirter.
I mean, I agree, but they are actually calling it by its brand. That's how it's marketed.
Well, I thought the brand was.
I don't know where my the brand of the. Okay, yes. The brand is Orbeez. The name of the gun is Bead Blaster. You know, like a Daisy Red Ryder BB gun. Daisy is the brand, Red Ryder is the gun.
Gotcha.
So I don't know how I did this, but I accidentally switched workspaces on my computer, and that's how I switch it back. I figured it out. So, unlawful possession of an air rifle states that they mix them an air rifle because of a spring-loaded air pump. That's how a Nerf gun works. So, are they going to start charging children for, unlawful possession of an air rifle for a Nerf gun? Or are they just doing yet another social media campaign to excuse the actions of an out-of-line officer?
That. They have been trying to justify it with all kinds of fuckery. They'd even put out a post saying, oh, well, if you're caught with one of these, then you're going to be given a citation and your water gun's going to be taken. And it's like, you mean what? Like, after you shoot somebody in the face and fucking kill them, you're going to fucking stuff a ticket in their pocket and take their fucking water gun? This is fucking murder. This is fucking murder. Fucking air rifle my ass.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the video.
Yeah.
Saying water pellets are shot by an air pump, which makes the guns illegal in the city. But around the country, these guns are popping up, including in Florida, where someone aimed one at a mother and child. Law enforcement warning about the dangerous trend.
It's kind of zero tolerance. If we do catch you, there could be some serious consequences with this.
Back in the city, the police department is looking into several incidents involving bead blaster guns, including a Bronx traffic agent being shot in the back while writing a ticket. Still, regardless of what's going on, those who knew the teen can't believe he's gone.
And his family is very, very heartbroken.
Police say it's still unclear whether or not the teen ever fired that bead blaster. In the meantime, the correction officer faces several charges, including murder, manslaughter, and criminal possession of a weapon.
There's a lot to unpack with this case, and honestly, I don't even know where to start. He was a teenager doing a TikTok challenge with a water gun. Even if, by some stretch of the imagination, this bead blaster was an air rifle, which it's not rifled, okay? And if that is the standard that they are going by, then they're going to start arresting fucking small children for playing with Nerf guns.
Right. And that's the thing, like, okay, even if you were to pop said water beads in the freezer, the worst damage they're going to do is, like, leave you with a bruise.
A bruise? Yeah.
Ooh.
And probably not even that. It'd probably be a welt.
Right. It's not even going to break your fucking skin, let alone... And this pig felt justified fucking executing a child for playing with one? It's a toy. It's a fucking toy.
It's orange and white.
Right. It is clearly not a gun. Yeah, Nate, land of the free my ass. Land of the free to be murdered by the fucking pigs. Claim they're fucking protecting the community. Are you kidding me? From what? From water? From water? Excuse me?
Yeah. I mean, next thing you know, they're going to be trying to classify water balloons as grenades.
Right. Fucking reactionary fucks. And yeah, Nate said, I can tell you right now that both Nerf darts as well as the airsoft hurt more than this. Yeah. Yeah, that. Yeah, agreed, James.
Anyway, I know this has been short. I really don't have too much more to add, though. I want to take this moment, though, to actually, before I do that, I'm going to respond to Chris's comment. He said, now revolution is being challenged as ever before. And yeah, 100%. At what point do the masses decide that enough is enough?
Right. Because this is.
I mean, it should have been a long time ago.
Yeah, this is full-blown police state fascism shit right here when they're like, yes, we can murder your children for playing with toy guns. And it's not the first. How many little kids in the last 15, 20 years have been murdered by cops for playing with toy guns?
I brought this up when I was, doing the intro. But, I mean, let's not forget about Tamir Rice. He was, 11 years old? Playing with a fucking airsoft gun?
On a playground, if I remember right.
On a playground? Yeah. And the cops shot him multiple times within 2 seconds of getting out of the cruiser. The cruiser wasn't even stopped yet. He jumped out and shot.
Yep. Yes, Avenging Pineapple, please do join. Because we really fucking need this. Shit's gotta change. We can't keep fucking tolerating pigs thinking that they're fucking, holding free license to just go around murdering children. How the entire city of New York is not taking to the streets already is fucking
because it's a fucking 100 degrees.
Yeah, the easier to cook a pig with. Anyway, I'm so gonna get us red flagged on social media with this shit. But dude, seriously, this is not a moment for, defunding whatnot. No, we need to abolish the police. They are a greater threat to our communities than any fucking thing. They've proven it time and time again.
Anyway, what I was starting to say, though, is I said right at the beginning that this was going to be a shorter show. In 1 hour on Twitch, I believe that it was on Bread Theory's Twitch.
Yes.
We are doing Leftist Karaoke Night in 1 hour on Twitch. Look for us. We'll be there. If you want to be involved, hit up Bread Theory on Facebook. Let him know. He'll add you to the rotation. Avenging Pineapple, I don't even have anything else to say with you. You're in favor of radical change to our current system. People have been trying to do that for 150 years, and it never fucking works. It literally never works.
Right. Reformism hasn't gotten anybody anywhere. It's a fucking energy expending cha-cha of one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back, which is why we're literally fucking nowhere with it.
What do you mean, what kind of karaoke? Really?
There's only one
karaoke.
kind of karaoke.
The fuck?
Anyway,
Anyway, Nate saw a road pirate today disguised as a Prius with no markings. I drove about 2.5 hours away today, and I saw a pretty much brand new Toyota Tacoma, I'm pretty sure it was, pickup, no markings, no anything. Avenging Pineapple, we're going to sing whatever the hell we want to sing.
Right. If you want to sing a communist song, go for it.
If you don't, sing something else. It's just something to, blow off steam and build camaraderie.
Yeah.
Obviously, same thing for Bread Theory. We do a lot of diving into deep topics or, talking about not necessarily happy shit. So we needed a way to, unwind.
Yeah. Try to cope with existential crisis after existential crisis. Music is therapy. It's healing. And if you're not for that, Avenging Pineapple, then that's fine too. It's not a karaoke gulag. We won't be making you go. Your choice.
Maybe it should be.
Right.
We're coming for that toothbrush.
Right? It's our toothbrush now. Ugh. Anywho.
Tell me some good communist songs. I'll try it. Why are you so stuck on this communist songs thing? We're singing whatever the hell we want, but...
Right.
I mean, not necessarily communist, but labor-oriented. Like Woody Guthrie, Pete Seeger, Immortal Technique.
Rage Against the Machine.
What are you even talking about?
Eve said there's Kalinka. Yeah. Oh, goodness.
I think instead of our usual outro today, just to piss off Avenging Pineapple, I think I'm going to play... Actually, I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to, do it.
Go for it. I think I already know what you're going to play, and I'm about it. Searching.
Yes.
And if it's the one I'm thinking of, it won't even get us a flag for copyright because it's in copywriting.
Right.
James, how dare you? We would never play Justin Bieber.
I'm looking for a very specific version of this. There we go. I found it. Did I?
Maybe. I don't know. Can't see your screen. But
I thought it was, but it's not.
Chris, to answer your question, I would say as far as abolishing the pigs, that's going to take massation of the people going, fuck this, we're shutting all this shit down, no more tax dollars to go towards your shit. It's easier than you'd think. If you cut off the flow of money going to the government to fund these things, first of all, the IRS can't fucking arrest 350 million fucking people. Stop paying your taxes. Stop paying them. If they have no funding to work with, there's a good place to start. And just going to say, there's a few places that have literally burned down the cop shops. And I'm all for that. Burn those buildings
Now
down.
let's all sing the International.